I hope so, dude. All right, here we go. We're back with the mic. Can you hear me now over the stream? By the way, for everyone listening, I am talking, and we'll get him on in a second, to the very talented Peter from PVT Sports Network. But for now, I have to figure out the main functions of doing a live stream, even though I've done like 6 of these before. Okay, is it I assume the video is choppy then, yeah? As always, yeah. That's the audio is never the issue with these types of streams. All right, let me connect you. I'll call you back in a second. All right, buddy. Talk to you soon. That is the very talented Peter from PVT Sports. PVT Sports Network. Let me put some respect on his name. And I don't know if he wants me. Well, you know what? Let me let him release that information to the public. Yeah. I wonder if changing to the cam. We're gonna add another camera here. Bear with me, people. This whole streaming thing isn't easy. Even though the talking on mic part is extraordinary, I feel at home in this late night stream. In fact, like I feel like the background lends itself to being a late night stream. What do I do? Video capture. Front cam. We'll get it kicking soon. We're going to do camera front. Okay. Do I have to just come back? Do I have to maybe just take out the camera? Just do front cam? So now you guys just hear my voice, right? Yeah. All right. Hold on. See, why is my front camera doesn't want to work anymore. All right. You know what? We're going to keep this going. We're going to remove the front cam. So remove that. And we're just going to try to move from here, man. Let's see. Let's see if this works. Okay. The first late night with Coop, not the biggest success. But I could always, you know what I could do? I could keep it on the pause screen, and just, if you guys want to listen, you guys can. Do more of like a podcast type of thing than a stream. I don't even want to know what's going to happen if I try to put up YouTube. Maybe if I take away YouTube in the background. Does that make it any better? Oh, that freed stuff up a little bit. Oh, yeah. Oh, big time. Okay. Stream status. Okay, so that helped a little bit for sure. All right. So we're getting cooking here. Let me get Pete on. Pete. And I want him to tell everyone, because this will be going up also, to big himself up and tell everyone about his brand partnership. Is it a partnership? It's a sponsorship. I have a brand partnership because it's not yet. I just realized too that I gotta connect this. Hold on. Okay. Is it calling Pete? Dude, so many technical difficulties to start off the stream. Hello? Oh, wait. I gotta turn the phone up. What's up, buddy?
How are you?
Good. So I told the stream that you were doing extremely well for yourself, which is always the case. But I didn't want to pop the cherry and expose something that well, it's not really a secret, is it? But I feel like you should tell it for yourself. Like, I want everyone to know, because I feel like when I heard about what happened, and I assume you know what I'm talking about, yes?
Yes.
Okay. So when I heard about it, I think you might be the first person to have done something like that. I'm pretty sure.
Maybe we aren't thinking about the same thing. What are you getting at?
I'm talking about Manscaped.
Oh, yes.
Because dude, like, think about it. And relatively speaking, I'm not trying to, shit on you or put you down or anything here. Like creators of our size, you're actually a little bit bigger than I am, but I would have never have dreamed of getting something like that. And they signed you to, was it like a development type of thing?
Yeah, it was more of a, I would say like a trial. Essentially, they gave me, I mean, I could give you, I mean, it's not a big deal. I can give you exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Essentially, what it is just like a month trial with them. They want to see what the numbers are looking like. And then after the month, they'll see if they want to sign me to a long-term brand partnership. But, I mean, if they don't, I'm completely okay with it. The fact that they reached out to me and they were like, hey, let's do this, especially around the holiday season when it's probably most like appropriate.
Right.
That's, if I could help them in any way, they could help me in any way. I mean, it's a blessing to even be considered. You know what I mean?
Absolutely,
So.
dude. I was I obviously I was happy for you because I'm your friend, and obviously whenever someone can succeed like that, that's always fantastic. But I was also a little bit flabbergasted. I was like, whoa.
You and me both.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I FaceTimed you immediately. I was like, dude, how did you, like, that's fantastic, but how did you lock that down? I was fascinated by that. And it was kind of like, too, that night I really hit it hard because that showed me that if you really, like obviously apply yourself like we've been doing, that good things can happen. Not to say that good things haven't been happening, but I guess as of late, as of recording this, which I guess, I don't know if anyone's going to pour in and look for updates, but we are live on the YouTube, and I want to do it on the YouTube even though YouTube Live kind of sucks because that's where the audience is. But and obviously for anyone that's listening to this, I'm just going to keep it on the pause screen, I think. So for anyone listening to this is going to be audio only for the rest of the time, or until my internet decides that it wants to stop being absolutely ridiculously bad. But it was it's been a little bit rough. But it's kind of like, because you've went through your own stuff, that showed me that someone can bounce back. And I think out of respect, I'll keep it ambiguous. Or if you want, you could speak to it on what you've went through. But to see what you went through, dude, and then to have you get to the point where you're signing a development deal with Manscaped, which is like, that's like a big fish. You think of the biggest podcast sponsors right now. What do you think of? Liquid Death.
Yeah.
Manscaped,
Athletic. Well, I mean, I'm a JRE guy, so I'm thinking of all like the Athletic Greens and all that Black Rifle Coffee.
Black Rifle Coffee. Yeah, I'm thinking of all the pretentious LA podcasts. So like Liquid Death. I don't know, like Sherry's Berries. What?
Berries is a big one. So yeah, Raid Shadow Legends.
Yeah, well, dude, Raid Shadow Legends is everywhere. like Raid Shadow Legends is all over the map, dude. I've never seen anything quite like that, if I'm honest with you. It's like, even, dude, when you go on, I'm sure you've had to download a video off of YouTube. When you realize that Raid Shadow Legends, after you download something and an ad pops up, when it could be a 50-50 between Raid Shadow Legends and a Russian housewife for sale, that's like, dude, it's like, how widespread are these guys? You know what I'm talking about? It's ridiculous.
Oh, yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
100%. And it's so funny because I even said this to you when you first called me after I announced it on Instagram and everything, and I literally told you I did like a full-blown background check on this guy that emailed me. I was like, there's no way that this is true. I'm like,
God, dude, I would have been so skeptical too. Oh,
I was
my
like,
God.
What? And the fact that he emailed me at like 9:00 at night, like, but then I thought to myself, I was like, they're based out of like California. So I was like, even so, 6:00 was I'm a little skeptical, but everything came up and it was legitimate. And then I was like, oh shit. And then everything just kind of happened fast. He was like, all right, I'm gonna send you the documents to sign. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, bro, signing documents over here.
Did you, I have a question.
Yeah,
when signing, because I have some stuff that I've yet to sign actually behind the scenes that I don't really want to get into, but it's centered around the marketing of the show. Probably just gave too much away there. I'm not going to give anything away. It immediately gives away exactly what it is. What? No. Yeah, I've even that where there's no money involved. That kind of gave me a little bit of pause because it's kind of like, oh boy, anything with contracts, I feel like for creatives can leave you open to some for lack of a better term, dickings or cockings. You know what I mean? Like you can really get screwed over down the road.
Let me tell you a little funny story before you get into something. You'll get a kick out of this if we're talking about tries not to give anything away, immediately gives everything away.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
So
me though. That's me. That's my bag.
and it was me 100%. And I'll tell you just how it went. So I was super nervous. I recorded the ad for Manscaped. So it was a 3-minute long ad.
Yeah.
For Manscaped. So I went balls to the wall, and my coworker that's actually sitting across from me could attest to that. He loved it. And
did you go literally balls? Like, there's got to be a joke about balls somewhere in there.
I went clean shaven balls to the wall. No, but so what happened was, so I put it on the episode.
Right.
And you have to, so the way that it works with Manscaped is you have to let them know what episode the first episode is that you're putting it on. So I told them that I'm putting it on this episode, and the RSS feed and the link, everything went through. Right. So I'm on the episode, and I go the episode previous to the one that I was going to send to them. So I said, I got a big partnership coming up. Like, I don't want to give anything away. And I said, Manscaped emailed me, and I literally went throughout the entire thing on the hot mic. And I talked about the entire thing, and I didn't realize it until after I was editing the entire thing away after I said that I was not going to say anything. And it was a full, 10-minute conversation with myself about it. And then as I was editing, I'm listening to it, and I'm hysterically laughing. I'm like, yeah, I have to leave this here because it's just too funny.
And they weren't, did they make you, I'm sorry I keep interrupting here, but I want to be like Joe Rogan. Did they get mad, or do they make you send them the copy of the ad read?
They prefer to, so I did, but they basically give you no restrictions. It's pretty much just like whatever you want to do. They give you some words not to use, and it's funny because they don't give you words not to use, like curse words and stuff, talking about their product. They don't want you to say like the word waterproof or some. They don't want to give you, and they don't want you to pass out any misinformation, essentially. So like that's the only thing they care about. If you could say and do whatever you want on the video form, on the audio form of the ad read itself, but if it comes to misinformation, they shut that shit down. But I was very careful. I was very thorough. I planned it out throughout the whole day, and I just went with it, and I thought it was really funny. I'm gonna send you over a copy of the audio.
Yeah, dude, please do.
When we get off here, and you're gonna die laughing. It was 2 minutes and 44 seconds of pure gold.
Well, I can't blame you. I mean, I'd be hyped too. That's something where if you really, and it's kind of like the way you've been building too, because you're ascending the ladder. You have the chance to make this, and I've always said this. I think you have you from the start. You've had natural skill and talent.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. You've always,
well, my friend.
Oh, of course. I mean, we're good about like sucking each other off about that type of stuff.
Definitely.
But no, dude, I think you now have the chance, and you did have the chance before, but that's kind of like a step closer to realizing that's like, hey, I can make a really decent amount of money off of this. Like a really, really decent amount. Something where it's 100%. Like at some point it's like, okay, well now I can quit my job because I have something like that lined up.
And it's so funny too, because that was the first real taste of, hey, I'm not actually like being fully transparent with you. Like there's no money involved in this yet. Right. And that's the whole trial period of it. But like, that was the first like reality check where I was like, hey, you know what? Like if I stay on the beaten path, like I could make some real money in this. And then of course, that's when I basically got my dream job. Like, I'm transitioning over to my new job in the new year. And it's just so funny how I've been waiting for this opportunity podcasting wise for a long time. And now I'm starting this career job in January, and I'm super happy about both, super thankful. I've said from the beginning that 2021, while not trying to disrespect other people that have had a bad year, it's been the best year of my life, hands down.
Damn, man. Well, what, if you don't mind me asking, what's the new job that you're starting? And it's all about perspective too, dude. I mean, there's a silver lining to everything. I don't think I'd categorize any year as the worst year. I don't think you should even do that in general. Like, even if it was, let's just say hypothetically, the worst year, some people's like, which hey, listen, there could be a year that rolls along where that makes me, stop and say, okay, that was legitimately the worst year of my life. But I choose not to at first roll with that precedent, because I think it, there's always a positive spin you could find on stuff, dude. There's always a positive spin,
100%. And I've been a glass half full type of guy for my entire life. So that's why, I mean, to me, honestly, like every year that passes, just take everything with a grain of salt. You learn from, your previous, I don't want to say transgressions, or you learn from like your previous either mistakes or, there's just life lessons to be learned at every single point and every single year. So I always just try and look at it that way, where it's like, I'm wiser, I'm smarter now. I'm a better people person. I speak better now. I just try and take those types of things into the next year and roll with it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Do you mind if I ask you something? Because
Sure,
you
go
know, you
ahead.
saying about getting better and kind of as I had mentioned, this might be a little bit of it is a callback to what we were originally talking about, getting better every single time. Do you look back, because the way for anyone listening that me and Peter met is through a third party acquaintance that had me on to produce their stuff at first. And then he had, the other guy kind of like dropped out for personal issues. I'm not, this is not me like throwing shots or anything. But when you look back, what's that process like from there to now? Like what looking back, because I like to look back sometimes, and I'll be like, damn, dude, we were doing a basketball podcast in a booth at school, and now we're kind of, now we're out of a studio, but for the most part, we've been making a lot of strides. For instance, I have a trial shirt coming in that I'm gonna try to put up for sale.
I'll be buying it.
Yeah, absolutely, man, absolutely. I got to send you a picture once it comes in. But then we also have, actually, let me not say too much for once, but we have something else in the works with our brand partner. You can see right there, code JCS10 at copaceticandles.com. We had something with them, but yeah, I look back and it was like, I was at the first episode I ever did. It was horrible. It was horrible. It was horrific. It was really bad. And then I look at now. So do you have the same thing, or is it like you realize, because that's the biggest fear I think for any creative duo is can you do it without the other person? So was there like that drop off with you, where when the other guy kind of skedaddled out of there, you were kind of like, damn, can I keep this up?
I, in risk of sounding a little bit conceited, I knew that, like, once we were kind of on the break, like, we talked about what was going on. There was a lot of stuff school-wise going on with Matthew, and, like, I told him, I said, take it a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever you want, come back whenever you want, like, I'll take over. And I knew kind of at that point that I was in content, like creative control. Like, I was putting out the YouTube videos. I was essentially driving the talking points of the podcast episodes. I said to myself, I was like, I could definitely do this, because out of the two, and he'll be the one to say it as well, I was the more knowledgeable about sports. He kind of brought more of the charisma, I would say, but I was just kind of that guy that would throw all the stats at you. But I said to myself, as long as I could be myself and I could be a little bit more charismatic on the mic, I could definitely do this by myself. And if I go back to the first episode that I did by myself, super shaky. It took me about like 5 or 6 attempts at first to even get through the introduction. And I was just like, oh boy, I can't do this. I can't do this without bouncing ideas off of someone else. Because, dude, everyday conversation just comes so naturally, because it's literally everyday conversation. How often do you wake up and you go in the mirror and have a 45-minute conversation with yourself? You don't do it.
You don't do it at all, no.
You know what I mean? So, like, doing that after going about, how long? I think we went 7 months together, nonstop. 1 to 2 times a week we were putting out podcast episodes. So from going to having that dynamic and that chemistry to just kind of doing it and staring out the window by myself, it was definitely tough. And now I look at it and I wake up, like, on days that I know I'm taking a little bit of a hiatus just for the mental, and also for the holidays coming up for Christmas and New Year's. And also my next episode is actually episode 100. So I'm trying to plan something big for that. So I'm going to take a little time in planning that. But
we should do something, dude.
I need to have, like, I said it from the beginning that everyone that was on the show,
like a mega episode, mega orgy episode.
Yeah, just have a full-blown orgy on 100%. Like, I would love that. Nothing would make me happier. But like, looking back at that, I think that was the first episode I did by myself was episode 28 or 29. So essentially doing, minus guests, essentially doing 70 podcast episodes solely by myself is something that I definitely take pride on. Now I wake up on days that I know I'm recording a podcast episode and I physically can't wait to do it. Like, I get excited, I get hyped. Like I down a cup of coffee and I'm fucking slamming the table, ready to go.
Dude, I just love the fact. Dude, this might max out the mic, and I apologize to my parents that are sleeping. But the thought of you just sitting down in front of your mic, being like, "Let's fucking go, bro." You know what I mean? That's just hilarious to me. I don't know why it is, but just maybe it's because I feel like I know you somewhat well, or pretty well actually.
Yeah, 100%.
And just the way that because we worked on a little bit of a project together that I still want to go after once we can get an in-person setup. Or once,
100%.
listen, even if it's over Zoom, like I'll watch certain, for anyone listening, it was a fight card or not like a live companion, but it was a fight show over Zoom. And that was really fun. And I think we had terrific chemistry on that show. And I was
one of my favorite episodes ever.
Damn.
Oh my God, dude. It was fantastic.
You're making me blush. But yeah, no. So we had worked on that together. And I was actually going to hit you up about maybe doing a live fight companion or something like that at some point.
I fucking love that.
Making the show into something live. Yeah, dude. So, but no, we had done that. And knowing the way that you pour so much energy into it, same as me, it was funny to to envision you just getting in there like it's Game 7 of the NBA Finals and you're LeBron coming back down 3-1 and just, you know what I mean? Like you're there with the headphones and the glasses on in the picture. But no, I'm glad that you've. I mean, if you put it like that, dude, 72 episodes? You said.
Yeah, we're going on. Well, if it was 29, so I haven't done basic math in a long time. But if it's 29 plus 71 will be 100. So yeah, so almost 71 episodes solely by myself, basically.
And that's not easy. Like I've tried to foray into that, and obviously Nigel's not here right now because he had just hit the mic here. Nigel's not here right now because he had some stuff to take care of, some Christmas shopping, and we had tried to do something earlier. But obviously with Nigel there, it's a lot more fun. It's a lot more easy. But I still do like to kind of like, as you said, just talking to a mic or talking to a mirror, or even just stream. It's fun. It's a good time. Or like interviewing, foraying into all that stuff. But doing it for 71 episodes and having guests for 29 of them, you could easily have just, I don't know if that's necessarily a crutch, but, I'd imagine there were some days where you definitely probably weren't slamming the table. And it was kind of more so like you had I have those days until I get in there, actually. There's been certain days where it's like something doesn't go right and then I don't want to do it at all. That's my biggest issue. But
yeah,
to do that for 71 consecutive, consecutive, or I don't know if it's consecutive, but to do that for 71 episodes and then also put out high quality content when you get a guest on, listen to your stuff with guests, that's really, really crazy to me. You know what I mean? And that's something that should be celebrated. Like I hit 20, what are we up to now? 20. I just released 22 of this show, and then I have 57 of the other ones. I know, but dude, the thing is, think about it like this: you've done more for this one show combined than I've done in 2, and that's not. Does that count? That doesn't count TTL, right? Because this is a whole new rebrand. We can talk about the rebrand in a second.
It does. It counts the first. I guess if you want to count all of, if you want to do solo, it's solo 71, and in total it's 99. But I would say, what did I do? I think I did about 60 episodes under the TTL brand. So so about 40 of them have been under PTV. So
damn, man.
Yeah, and it's crazy because I look back at, I was putting out one, and I've been through like a weird relationship with the podcast game, because I'll give you a for instance, like you just said before, where there are some days where you don't slam the coffee and you slam the table and go, let's fucking do it. And one of the instances, I've only had one podcast episode that I regret doing, and it's so weird because it was probably one of my highest profile guests that I had on.
Can I guess?
I mean no disrespect by what I say about anyone, just how I feel. But
hold on, I'm gonna get the Funk Flex bomb ready before you say it, so I can hit it.
No, you could do it. He's never gonna see this, so it doesn't matter.
Ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
So James Coe, who is a DirecTV fantasy football analyst that used to work for NFL Network,
right,
came on my podcast, and I DM'd him on Instagram, and I said, Twitter, and I said, hey man, like I'm a big fan of you. I remember you with Adam Rank on NFL Network. You guys used to have a show together. Like, I was a big fan. Would you like to come on? It was just before the season, maybe about a week before the season started. And he goes, yeah, sure. Like, and we could do it this time, but I don't have a lot of time to do it. And I said, yeah, we'll fit it in. No worries. And you know, just the energy, like he was a great guest, don't get me wrong, but like just the energy was off. And like I wasn't happy with the product, and I put it out, on the podcast platforms, and I put it even on YouTube, which is very rare. I don't put a lot of full length podcast episodes on YouTube.
Right.
But I did with this one. And
Well, you got it because it's the
friends,
guy, dude's from DirecTV. I mean, and he's also a former. You said a former NFL analyst.
yeah, he used to work for NFL Network. So
Okay, yeah. So you have to.
Yeah, he had a nice name to him, and great guy. I talked to him afterwards as well, but I don't know, the energy was just off, and it kind of put me in like a weird place with the podcasting game. And there would be like, I would like skip a week, and I'd be like, you know what, it's fine. Like I'd go 10 days. And then I just like hit this stride. Like there was just one episode, I think it was week 1 NFL Pick'em. I did, and just everything flew off my tongue, and it just felt so good. And then from then, I think that was how long ago was that? Okay, so we're at the beginning of week 16. So say 16 weeks ago, 4 months ago.
Right.
I've put out since then. So you would think if you do one a week, that's 16 episodes. I think since then I put out about 30 episodes since that one day, just because I fell back in love with like talking on the microphone again. Like it was just like I needed that. I think I needed that kind of reset of I didn't like that, so let me try something else.
Of course, dude. That's how it goes. I mean, I've had that before too, where I kind of just burn myself out because I tend to spend so much time on something until I feel like I'm done with it that I really like go and burn myself out. It's really bad. And I've had maybe 2 instances over the last 2 years where I've really had to take. One time I took 2 weeks until it didn't like until the 2 weeks ended. I didn't feel that same like fire there to record. And I had to wait for it to come back. But when it came back, it really came back. And the first time was because my friends and family forced me to. And that felt good, And I think there was also some other extraneous circumstances around it where I couldn't get back to it or something like that. Maybe we couldn't get into the booth. That was right. Yeah, that was at the beginning of Corona because the booth was super closed off at Iona.
Yeah, we were scheduled to do Matthew and I were scheduled to do a podcast episode that day that Joe actually emailed me and said it's closed.
Yeah, I think it was the same thing with us too. And then it would like we got there and the booth wasn't going to be open for another week or something like that. But it was something along those lines. And Nige was just basically like, dude, just you're gonna burn yourself out. Just take the week. I was like, all right. And that stuff works, man. It works 100%. It works. It gives you, and especially when you're passionate about something, because guys like us that have very high work ethics and drives, there's a double-edged sword or double-edged coin. I guess you could use really either phrase, but that's kind of the ebb and flow to it. Is when you put so much time into something, you can also risk burning yourself out on it, and it's true with any different creative. I mean, my friend, or any creative that you want to try to think of in your head, like my friend, he works on films. He'll take a month-long break in between just because, he can. And he comes back to it and he makes strides. I think a lot of people think that you have to be constantly working at something to get better at it. But if you go and you reassess something the next day or like a week later, like that's what I'll do if I really hit a creative block with it usually doesn't happen anymore because I've kind of just figured out a way around it. But if I really hit a block, I'll just come back to it at a later date, and that always works without fail. So, yeah, I feel like a lot of guys, especially in our industry, like the older guys, who do we have? Bruce Beck. Is that his name? Bruce Beck?
Yeah, you're right. Wow, I haven't heard that name in a long time.
Yeah, we had him in on our class. We had him in our class, and he's like, what are you doing at 2 a.m.? And this kid was like, hanging out. And he goes to me, he goes, what are you doing? And I was like, editing my podcast. And he goes, good. You need to be working every single second of every single day to achieve. And I understand the blue collar type of deal that he's talking about, but at the same time, dude, you can. I think taking a break is just as essential as working your ass off. I think there has to be a healthy balance.
Yeah, you really nail it on the head because I think a lot of people fail to realize that not everything works for the person that they're talking to. So say like that guy who goes, Bruce Beck, who goes, you have to be working, sleep when you're dead. That was a big, actually when my dad was growing up, he was saying that era and that generation, that was all that they were about. You know, you work until your fingers fell off, and then you reap the benefits after you retire at like age 70. And at that point, you work yourself to death.
Yeah, dude.
And, you know, the philosophy has changed over time. And don't get me wrong, there are still people that are even our age, that are a little bit older than us, that have worked every day, have worked their absolute ass off, and have achieved what they want to. And there's also people that have a great balance of work and rest and prioritize sleeping and prioritize mental health, and they still do a great job. So you could really win if you're really that passionate about something. You will find a way to persevere and to be successful in that. It's not all about working your fingers to the bone. I'll give you for instance, last night I said to myself, I wanted to get this latest mock draft video out today, before Christmas Eve and before Christmas. And I got home from work. It was about 12:45 at night. I had to finish writing this script. And I opened up my laptop. I was sitting at my desk, and I'm just like, my eyes are like half open looking at it. And I'm like, why am I doing this right now? I was like, it's the holiday season. I was like, no one's going to watch it anyway if it's up now, because like I said, they're going to be spending time with their family. It doesn't make sense for me to be putting myself through all of this to give myself a deadline when I know that it could be just as effective if I posted on Sunday or Monday next week. And that's what I did. I closed my laptop. I went to bed. And when you called me before, I was working on it a little bit. And you know what? I don't have to get it done now. That's, you know, it's all about trial and error. It's all about, because we're alike, you know, we're workaholics. So like, I feel like any time that I have to work on something that I want to put out, it. And sometimes I kind of have to just stop myself and go, you know what? You're tired. You're not putting your best effort into the content. So stop doing it, rest, and then come back at a later date when you're ready to give 110%.
And the quality will always be better too. That's the other thing that I try to tell myself. You know, listen, sometimes it gets to the point where I'm like, I thought I had COVID this week, and it got to the point where I'd already lost a week to the flu, and I was like, all right, dude, it's enough. Like I'm just gonna work through this. Turns out, thank God that I only had like a minor cold or something like that, because I got tested today, came back negative. But the point is, there's some times where, hey, listen, you pilot through, and then maybe you catch that creative drift or a creative wind later on, and there's sometimes, like you said, where it's just like there's no use, dude. There's no use because you're too You're too burnt out, or you're too tired at the time, and it's okay to tell yourself, hey, take a break. What you know what? And I'll say this. I think a lot of people on the other edge or the other side of that argument would say that, you know, turning off, you know, whatever editing program you use, doesn't matter, Premiere, Final Cut Pro, and stopping whatever you're working on and going and playing video games is that same type of thing that we're talking about. It's not at all. I don't think. Between, you know, telling yourself to tap out and tapping out. You know what I'm saying? Like I have to, my biggest flex is I have to tell myself to tap out, right? Like a lot of people would say, okay, I'm done with this. I'm going to go because I want to. I'm going to go play video games. And there's nothing wrong with playing video games. I might go play some Warzone after this because I'm satisfied with the amount of content I'm probably going to put up. I don't know how long to go, but we're here anyways. Wasn't even supposed to stream tonight. The thing is, that's after I've done what I felt I needed to do for the day, right? Like I got out a clip today. I talk shop with the candle, you know, all these things, all these different things where I'm talking with my brand, my brand partnerships, and I'm doing this, that, the third, ordering mock shirts. So after all of that is when I choose to be like, hey, all right, I'm done. But there's a difference between that and saying, I don't feel like that's a lack of discipline, I think.
Oh yeah. I you know what, that used to be me, I'd say earlier on in the pandemic when I was still working with Matthew on something or talking business, I guess, if that's what you want to call it. And we'd be like, yo, I'm kind of done with this right now. Like, it'd be like 2 a.m. and be like, yo, you want to hop on the show right now? And I'd be like, bet. And, you know, that's just not a good way. And like, I've grown from that. Like now I shut off, like if I turn my computer off, and I say I'm done for the day, I'm getting straight into that bed and I'm going to sleep. Like there's no I'm not doing that anymore. Like because it was detrimental to like my mental health too, because I was also staying up until like 4:30, 5 o'clock. You know, just like doing mindless activities that hurt my eyes and my head. So like, why am I doing this? You know what I mean? Like I got to and I don't sleep well to begin with. So prioritizing sleep and sleeping like adequately is a big thing of mine now. And I've seen when I sleep, like I've seen the difference and do something at, if I have to wake up, sometimes I have to wake up at 5:45 to go down to the city to, complete something for my new job. And I fall asleep at 12:30 or 12:45 and I only get 5 hours of sleep. Or I fall asleep at 10 and I get, close to 8 hours of sleep. It's a huge difference.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's like it kind of just comes down to how you function as a human being, really. You got to treat your body like it's a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, and it's taken me just over 25 years now. But it's taken me just over 25 years now to realize that.
Dude, we're all learning, we're all growing. I mean, that's the biggest thing that's brought me the most peace is making mistakes is better than not making mistakes. Like I'll get nervous now if I don't make any mistakes, which is a funny thing because I never thought I would have gotten to that point until I brought on a mentor and he kind of like shook me up and made me realize, put me on to the real way that life worked,
Yeah, and it's like at my new job, for instance, like when I start, basically I'm a novice at this, you know what I'm saying, at this occupation.
Mm-hmm.
So whoever I'm paired with and I'm working with, like I want to be a sponge. I want to be that guy that makes the mistakes that like obviously not like big mistakes, but like exactly, that could be corrected, that could be taught to me. No, do it this way. Like I like you said, I never thought that would be me. I always wanted to be that guy that was like, I know everything. Like I don't want to be taught. Now it's like, please teach me. Like I want to fuck up so you can tell me how to do it right.
It's funny because I think a lot of the time people don't understand that they're even in that mind frame of like not wanting to learn. I'll speak for me at least. I didn't know I was in that mind frame, but the point is you couldn't teach me anything. Like that's just the simple, straight and narrow of it. I wasn't listening. I was taking it in. I was telling people what they wanted to hear, but I wasn't listening. And I probably still do that now to some extent. But, I retained a little bit of the information, and I use that now, and it's done dividends for me. That's just the straight and narrow of it. Where are you starting your new job, by the way? What are you doing?
I'm working. Well, I don't actually know exactly the field in the job parameters that I'll be working, but essentially I'm working for the energy company of the 5 boroughs at Con Edison. So I'll be doing general utility work. The beauty of the job is essentially, obviously like with any other job, you start at the bottom of the hill. And what I love about it is every 6 months you have an opportunity to take a test and better yourself and better your position. So say like I'll be someone's bitch, for lack of a better term. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to be that guy that, does all the dirty work for the mechanic,
right?
The electrical mechanic, and then he cleans up and does everything, and then we leave. But then after 6 months, I get to take a test to become that guy's assistant. And then 6 months after that, I could potentially take a test to become that guy. So like, there's just endless amount of growth opportunities in this company. And, you could really be on a path to great health insurance, great people. I've never been to a place. I've been down to headquarters many times to do medicals, to do driving tests, all that kind of stuff. I went down there. Someone opened up the door for me that works there and literally looked me dead in the eyes and goes, "Good luck. I hope you kill it today." Like, well, like in today's day and age where it's just like a world of hate and like no one cares about anyone, I feel like, anymore. Like,
no, I don't think. I mean, I think also, I just want to interject real quick. How much of that do you think is just like the news perpetrating that, though? That type of mind frame, mindset? On both sides. I'm not trying to get political, but I think news in general right now just sucks. Like, I was watching, no. I won't even say the name of the news outlet, but, dude, they did a piece on the 4th of July, and instead of talking about the fact that it was 4th of July and that, there was like people out there celebrating it. It was like some guy flipped onto a grill and like, it's obviously it drives tickets or it drives views, tickets. What we're talking about views to be, to report on the negative stuff and the drama and all that. But I don't know. It's just, to me, it seemed like lazy reporting, but that's mostly news nowadays. In fact, I'd probably venture out to say that's all news nowadays. It's just literally whatever, whatever kind of controversial
I
thing drives views to their website or whatever, their
I
live
agree with
broadcast.
you. I agree with you in terms of the media is causing a negative outlook and a negative narrative. I definitely agree with you on that. But being out in, I think this might be just a strictly New York City thing. But being out in the city as much as I have been over the past couple months, going down to headquarters and everything, it's a shit show out there. It's a misery filled world in New York City. I think that's where most of what I'm talking about is coming from.
How much of that is New York too? I wonder. It's probably because I know New York. I mean, listen, I'll
New York is pretty awful.
I'll agree with you. New York, in terms of just like people staring and not wanting to talk, is really bad for anyone that's listening to this. I don't know if we'll probably post live stream. People are gonna be tuning into this, but dude, anyone that ever has the chance to go to New York, I would highly recommend it. But understand that the people there, I don't even feel like abrasive is the right word. I feel like it's just it's a big don't talk to me type of energy. You know what I mean? It's a very, at least that's what I've found, is there's a lot of people have a staring problem, but also those same people don't want to engage and talk to you. So to me, that bothers me, because it's like, what are you staring at if you're not willing to say something? You know what I mean? And I'm not a tough guy, but I was raised to, I was raised to look people in the eye and give them a nod. And dude, the amount of times that I've like looked in someone's general direction, nodded, and just gotten a cold stare back is astounding to me.
Yeah, and you go into New York City and amplify that by about 15 to 20, and that's exactly what you're going to get. And obviously that's not every single person. That's just speaking in the general scheme of things. Obviously, not every single person is a miserable, but it's just, there's just a negative feel in the air. And I don't know if it's like you said before. I don't want to get political. I hate politics. I don't talk. My beliefs are my beliefs, and that's what it is. And I think everyone has obviously has the right to choose their own opinion and all that kind of stuff. I also don't think I don't think people's opinions are right. I don't think they're wrong. It's your opinion. That's what it is. You know what I mean? It is what it is. You're going to believe what you believe. But it's just, I don't know if it's just the city is zapped by COVID, or, or just politics in general, or the homeless problem, or, businesses closing down. If you really take like I took a subway ride into the city to go down to headquarters.
Right.
And even how they say like the hustle and bustle early in the morning in New York City, like you'll see so many people, like even that's dead, dude. Like I was on, I think I was on like the B train or something, and it was just like 7 other people on the train with me at like 6:30 in the morning, and I'm just like, what happened to this city? Like,
that probably, I think that's in large part due to COVID. Now that I'm thinking about it, dude, because I don't want to say I've seen the same thing here where I am, and I'm not gonna give my location away, but not like I'm fucking Jason Bourne or anything. I just,
I live in myself all the time. I don't give a fuck.
No, I live in some small suburban town, so it's probably harder to scale for me personally, but it doesn't seem like a ghost town. But at the same time, dude, I notice a lot more people are wearing masks, as I'm one of them, because I'm just I don't want to get COVID again. But
yeah, I'm the same. I've never had it, and I don't want to get it.
Yeah, no, you don't want to run the risk. But I noticed, I'm not making a political statement. A lot more places are mandating masks again, so it kind of feels like we're slipping back into the beginning of 2020 almost, which is kind of, well, not the beginning of 2020, but I guess the beginning of Corona, which was midway through 2020.
I think it was, the shutdown was like March 12th or March 13th or something like that.
Yeah. So,
something like that. So
dude, that's the thing. It's like it kind of feels like we're slipping back into that region or area or span of time there where everyone's masked up. It's kind of, the places are becoming ghost towns, and it's sad, honestly, to see that. And I can only, like, I haven't been down to the city yet, but I'm probably gonna go down at some point, just on strictly on business. So I'll let you know what I see down there. But it's kind of, from the looks of it down here or up here compared to the city, it's starting to shift back, I think.
Yeah, and you know, my stance on the whole thing is I'm completely vaccinated. I wear my mask at all times when I'm out or even when I'm at work. And, I do it basically for the safety and comfort of others, because I feel like that's my duty as a citizen to not only protect myself, but to protect the people who are susceptible and scared.
Right.
Because that's not, I don't think like that, but I know that there are people out there and I have no right to make those people feel uncomfortable. So I'm going to do my duty as a citizen, and I'm going to make everyone else feel comfortable. That's just the way that I think about it. But you're definitely right. It's definitely slipping back into that April 2020 kind of mass hysteria where it's like, what are we going to do? And I think more so this time around because there's a more money aspect into it now, especially with businesses, because businesses are teetering on the edge as it is. We can't shut down again. The New York City, LA, all the big cities are going to be ghost towns.
Right.
You know what I mean? All the big cities where it's expensive to live. You think of, you're thinking of Portland, Maine, which is I know Portland, Oregon, but there is a Portland, Maine.
Portland,
it's actually
Maine.
the most expensive.
Yep.
Actually, the most expensive city in America, which is kind of shocking. You think of Portland, Maine.
All the rich snobs live up there. All the one percenters that go to the F1 races, yeah, they all live up there. I bet.
Boston. You think of obviously New York. Miami won't suffer because Florida is its own country, in my opinion.
And they don't give a fuck about COVID either, bro. Like you know what I mean? Nothing. They're rocking and rolling out there.
But it's just like these big cities are just becoming nothing. Like you go down, dude. I went down to Soho in the city, and that's like a big shopping area. I went down there with my girlfriend a couple weeks ago. Just a window shop, essentially. We were basically we were really on the ball this year when it comes to Christmas shopping. We were done on Black Friday, but we came we went into Soho a couple weeks ago, and dude, like the amount, even big companies, big luxury companies that have endless amounts of money have pulled out. There are empty stores everywhere, and even places like in Soho where you go down there and it's like, luxury brands as far as the eye could see, they see it as a losing proposition now. They got to bow out. The rent is too high. The revenue's not coming in. It's pretty when you see big business like that, like big luxury business pulling out because they're not making a profit. That's how you know something's wrong,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, even like you said by the eye test, like I went into Kohl's today because what I'll do is, and I'll expose myself here on stream, I'll usually roll through to Kohl's and I'll spritz on my favorite cologne that they have. I'm a sick fuck for this. I'll roll through and I'll try on some of their demo colognes, except I'll just do that maybe like 2 times a week, something like that. If I have somewhere to go, or if I feel like I just want to, like, because it's like they're out there to demo, I'll just roll through there. And today I went in and it was actually, I felt like I wasn't going to get away with it. It's not even a crime, but like, you know what I mean? Like I felt like people were looking at me because there were so many at the same time that it was kind of, it wasn't really a ghost town. There was actually more people there than usual. But what I noticed and what I was trying to say is there was a lot more people with masks, not only because there was mandated in the store, but like just walking around outside the liquor store next to it where it wasn't mandated. People were walking in with masks because, dude, like Corona kind of just ran it back. Corona was like, daddy's not satisfied yet. Like he went in for another plate at Thanksgiving. I'm telling you, man, it's coming back. The Omicron, what is it?
Yeah, it sounds like a transformer.
Yeah, well, I mean, not that I'm making any money off of this, but if I was, I would have just gotten demonetized there. Whoops. But yeah, dude, that's
What on the saying Omicron wrong or whatever?
Can you not? I don't think it's Corona. You can't say, right?
I think as long as you're not talking, as long as you're not spreading misinformation, I don't think it matters.
I know that there are like certain buzzwords that you're not allowed to say on YouTube. I mean, like, listen, 9 out of 10 videos on our channel here have copyright strikes for the music I use in them. And the amount of stuff that, like, shout out to Alchemist, the producer. He lets people use his stuff without copyright infringement. So I guess,
really?
Yeah. So I don't know. Well, actually, because he'll strike your stuff, but then when you check the strike, it's not strike, but like it's a copyright. Let me look it up. Hold on, because I have all the stuff here, and it always tells me when I upload it.
That's pretty cool.
Because I did the Coop leaning on the soundboard for 5 minutes video recently.
I saw that. That was fantastic.
Dude, I listen back to that. There's sometimes where I'll go through the footage that we do for the show, and I'm just like, who is this person? You know, it's like when you send like a sext and you look back the next day, you're like, who is this man? It's just, this is not good. Where is this? I think it's a content. Yeah, no, it says the person, the copyright holder has allowed you to play ads on this, even though essentially, I'm paraphrasing, he's allowed you to play ads on it, even though it is a copyright strike. So shout out to Alchemist, because his beats are fire, and he lets you use money, or he lets you get money or make money off of his beats, even though, you know, technically it's a copyright thing when they're in your videos.
That's awfully nice of him. I'm not even trying to sound like a jerk saying that. That's like a real nice.
That did kind of sound like you were like, yeah,
that sounded a little
nice
fucked up.
Nice little thing from the little beat producer. That's mad funny. No, he's cool, and it's funny because he's arguably one of the best in the game. He's not like underground, but he's sort of, in terms of, like, if you have a white kid that lives in a cul-de-sac that's a Travis Scott fan, they're not gonna know who Alchemist is, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, 100%.
Like a real rap head will know who Alchemist is. And I'm not a rap head, and I actually am a white kid that lives in a cul-de-sac, but I kind of dabbled in I've kind of like dabbled more into rap recently, and like hip hop and all that stuff. And I actually watch I don't know what channel it is. Maybe we'll pull it up on the stream later after here if I can even react to stuff without it shitting the bed. But hip hop, what is it called? Hip Hop Madness. And kind of, I've just been like reading up on the history of hip hop, and it's super duper interesting, dude. Very, very interesting. So Alchemist he rolls with
He rolls with oh no, I might be thinking wrong. It's not Action Bronson, is it?
Yeah, he's rolled with Action Bronson, Benny the Butcher. That's another guy I really like. That whole crew out there from Buffalo.
Didn't Benny the Butcher just sign with Snoop Dogg?
Actually, let's look it up live here.
I think that might. Whoa, my foot just slipped. You heard that squeak?
I hear all types of sounds going on back there.
Yeah, it's a mess over here.
Dude, are you still at work?
Yeah, I'm here for another 24 minutes. Yeah.
Grind is crazy.
I'm pretty sure he just signed with whatever label Snoop Dogg is attached to.
Let me see.
Def Jam Records, I think.
Yeah, he did. Wow.
Yeah.
That's super good for him. And then West Side Gun, Conway the Machine.
Benny the Butcher's freaking fuego, man. Let me tell you.
That entire group.
I actually watched the Joe Rogan podcast with Snoop Dogg, and then he started talking. Like, I've heard Benny the Butcher on a couple songs, but I've never really given him like a listen. And then like after Snoop was like, "This dude's the real deal. Like, you know, check him out if you haven't." And I was like, screw it. You know, I'll give it a shot. And I did, and I was like, oh, this dude definitely embodies what West Coast rap is all about right now.
That's what I'm saying. And even like I'm talking about, I think who are the guys that rep West Side Gun? I think he raps. He reps. One of them reps Buffalo, New York.
Oof.
And in all of his songs, he reminds you that Buffalo is the murder capital of it has the highest murder rate in New York State. Which is kind of a bar if you think about it. But, dude, like, at first, you know, Buffalo, New York, I wasn't thinking of that as a particularly violent place. Yeah, right? But I guess Buffalo, New York like, I've been up to Buffalo before. It's a lot of, like, snow and, you know, and then obviously you got the Bills up there who are doing really well. I guess that's, it kind of makes sense because for a while the Bills were terrible. And so people really didn't have anything else to do because it's, like, snowy. Because the same thing with my town. It's, like, there's not much to do up here. I don't know about Buffalo, but I can only assume that they'd be getting up to nefarious activities up there. Wow, did I just sound white, dude?
You know, the whole blue cheese versus ranch thing up there is a whole big, you know, topic. So.
That's enough to murder someone.
That is it. You know what? It really is, honestly. But yeah, no, they that's so funny that you bring that up, like, you know, about Buffalo and everything. I watched this. If you look at my recommendations on YouTube, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck does this guy watch?"
Oh, same, dude.
Like, dude, it's all over the place. And I actually watched like like a quick documentary on Gary, Indiana the other day.
Oh, that's like the biggest shithole in the U.S., right?
Yeah, it's like almost completely abandoned. Like I think they said like 1 in every like 5 buildings in Gary, Indiana is completely abandoned, and like 3/4 of the population has like completely left, and there's a bit like I was just watching it. I'm like, this is fascinating, and I'm sitting here at work on my computer while I'm supposed to be doing something, and I'm like, why am I watching this? Like, what is going on?
I love those little documentaries like that. Wasn't it? I thought Gary was the town, or maybe that was another town in Illinois. That's what I'm thinking of.
Capital of the USA.
It used to be,
Indiana.
But then there's this other town that I was learning about in Illinois that is completely, completely abandoned. If Gary is, if every every third of a building or whatever it was, or every 1 in every 3 buildings is dead. There's a place in Illinois, I can't remember what it is, and the town is just completely abandoned. But it used to be like crime riddled, murder riddled, like all that stuff. Those places are very interesting to me, and I never traveled there because I'm not built like that. But it's interesting to kind of like chew over and to hear about. Like I watch all of those little. I watch a lot of conspiracy theory documentaries. Like there was this one I was watching when I still was at the internship called The Conspiracy Theory of Everything. And I talked about it on the podcast with Nigel. That shit was like 3-4 hours. And that was the cut down version. And they did an uncut version on I think it was Patreon, because YouTube, and you know what, listen, anything you give a conspiracy theorist will be fired to stoke the flame. But yeah, apparently YouTube had like taken it down a number of times, which for me, even too, listening to that dude was like, why are you taking it down so many times? That, that raises suspicion. But I love that type of stuff, dude. I watched that. I watched BuzzFeed Unsolved. I've wanted to do.
Oh, I love BuzzFeed Unsolved.
Dude, they're great. And I've wanted to do something. And for anyone, maybe the 2 viewers watching in here are fans of the show that I don't know, from school. Nigel and I are actually planning on doing some of that different type of content in the future here. Obviously, for anyone that's just tuning in, because we got 2 new people, this is just a late night stream with me, Coop, obviously. But
the Jewish jawline,
the soundboard god, of course, in Nigel's absence, because Nigel had to go do some Christmas shopping, and as I just said, I'm the Jewish jawline, so no Christmas shopping for moi. But what was I saying? I just completely distracted myself. Oh, we talked about it on the podcast, and we want to do some of that stuff ourselves, where we go out and kind of look for certain. I'll give a little bit away about it. I'm not going to give too much away, but it is going to be over the course of this break. It's going to be a much longer release date. So a release date down the line, and we're going to be going and we're going to be focusing with each episode. It's going to be more of a documentary type of style thing, but we're going to be bringing our own little shithousery aspect into it. But we're going to be focusing on an urban legend from a different area every single episode.
I like that. I like that idea a lot.
But I love that type of stuff, man. Maybe we'll go to Gary, Indiana.
Yeah, we'll sit in one of the abandoned buildings and have someone probably throw human feces at us. And but you know what I was watching the other day? You'll find this interesting because you're a little bit of a UFC man.
Oh, dude, I was just watching UFC compilations earlier, bro.
I got into I've been really kicking it old school lately, and I've been going back to like the legitimate like first couple UFCs. And there's one guy, it's not Dan Severn, because everyone knows that the Beast is, he's an absolute animal.
Yeah. There was all dudes with like no neck and a block for a head.
Oh yeah,
and just roided to the fucking gills. Yeah,
fucking juice to the gills. But yo, Don Fry, bro.
Don Fry was a different type of fucking animal.
Yo, I shit you not, Coop. I started watching. I watched all of his fights yesterday. Legitimately, all 30 of his professional MMA fights.
Why? I love you to death, but why, dude?
Because I fucking love Don Fry, bro. I don't know what it is about him, but I think it's because he looks like a combination. I figured this out the other day or yesterday. He, to me, looks like a combination of the old wrestler Rick Rude. He looks like Tom Selleck, and he looks like Omni-Man from the Invincible series, all tied into one.
That was all of them, though. That was like the prototypical build, where it's all like, I feel like it's like dads that are just juiced to the gills.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it just strong father figures fighting each
Yeah, it's
other in
like
a cage.
Gary Goodrich too. Like it's just like, oh
Yeah.
my god,
All
bro. Like,
aggressively normal names. That's the other funny thing about Gary, Indiana, too, is like with such a a lack. I'll go ahead and say it. Sorry to any Garys listening, but a lackluster fucking name like Gary for a place
Gary,
where
yeah.
so much murder happens is quite honestly hilarious. Not the murders, but the name.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that until just now too.
Fucking Gary, Indiana.
But bro, like, and then I watched this whole documentary on him too, bro. I'm not even ashamed to admit it. I was up until like 3:00 last night watching a documentary on Don Fry. I was just like, this man is my hero now. Like,
Don Fry.
Like I like knew about him before, and like obviously I've seen like his old stuff from like UFC like 6, UFC 7, like all the early stuff. His fight with Sashihiro Takayama too at Pride and all that kind of stuff. Like I've watched all that, but man, oh man, that dude was just a beast, and I just couldn't get over. Like once I go down a rabbit hole, I obsess over it until I'm sick of the subject matter. I obsess over it, and that's what I did with Don Fry. Now I woke up today and I was like, I'm gonna move on to someone different. Now I'm done with Don Fry.
I'm a big watch every finish of a fighter's career type of guy. Like I won't watch every single fight, but I'll watch the condensed beatings that they put on other people. Like a guy that I haven't been able to find anything on yet, and I'm hoping that they're actually, someone makes an edit on him soon, is Kai Kara France. The way he absolutely demolished Cody Garbrandt.
It made my day.
Yeah, he's become fun to watch. I mean, like, listen, I don't hate Cody Garbrandt, but it's just it's something about Kai Kara France is he's just he has that prototypical kind of like wrestler with a loaded right hand type of build where he's very short and stocky, and he closes distance very well and very quickly. And he's
know who he trains with, right?
Who does he train with?
He trains with Israel Adesanya and Alexander Volkanovski.
Oh, he's one of those. What is it called? Team.
Yeah, whatever that team is. Yeah,
whatever that stacked ass team is.
Yeah, he's part of that team, and yeah, dude. Like, they said that also in the telecast too, that he's been working with. Like, once they said that he's been working with Alexander Volkanovski, I was like, oh well, Cody Garbrandt's fucked.
Cut the tape. We're done.
That's it. It's over.
That's
but yeah, dude, I just get down these rabbit holes, man, and I've been watching, like I said, I've been really kicking it old school and going back to the original UFC, and I've been watching a lot of Pride lately too, from way back, from fucking Pride #1, Pride 5 and 6, whatever I can find, whatever I can get my hands on. I've been watching because honestly, dude, watching MMA in general, where there was just no rules, is the funniest thing to watch. Because
you could kick someone straight in the face and nobody would say anything about it, like on the ground, obviously.
Bro, I watched Tank Abbott throw a guy out of the cage. How does that even happen? Like,
no holds barred.
He literally threw him straight out of the cage, and they interviewed him after, and he was like, "I wanted to be the first person in MMA history to throw someone out of the cage." I was like, "Well, I mean, you're Tank fucking Abbott, so if you want to do it, you're probably gonna do it."
Yeah, your name is literally Tank, dude. Yeah. It's just like I don't know. You have to be a different breed to do something like that. I got a lot of respect for those guys. Anyone that you risk death every time you step in somewhere, like like at a UFC fighter, boxers, crocodile wrestlers, like whatever. I have an immense amount of respect for them because the cojones, the balls, are crazy. So it's crazy, dude. I don't know all that stuff, but I enjoy the technicality that comes along. That's like why I don't watch. I know there's like there's videos on YouTube that are dedicated to watching VODs of firefights through soldiers' helmet cams. That's like that's weird. Like I don't want to watch that, right? Because I guess that's actual death. But something about watching like a boxing match or UFC where the risk is it becomes more and more minimized once you get more skilled. That is very. Like seeing two guys and it's like a high. What does Joe Rogan say? It's a high stakes chess match or something with dire consequences. Like he's selling the line to a fucking 007 James Bond movie.
Sounds like a fucking thing that Joe Rogan would say.
Yeah, when he's like baked out of his fucking DMT. By the way, did you try DMT?
Oh my god, that sounded just like him. I'm not even lying.
Pull that up, Jamie. Jamie's in the background. Like, dude, shout out Jamie, man. Jamie's kind of like the. I know I'm going all over the place now, but it's late and I'm kind of just waffling here. But Jamie, I feel, is the underappreciated part of that show because he's there and he's known, but it's kind of like he's much more so memed, I feel, than Joe Rogan is. And I think for a lot of like producers, like I've met a lot of guys that want to go into podcast producing. They always say, I want to be like Jamie. And I don't think there's quite like another guy. The only other person I could think of that's kind of like Jamie is this guy. I'm trying to think of his name. Hold on, he produces Schaub's podcasts. Brendan Schaub.
Oh, no, I was thinking of
Chin. That's his
Chin.
name. I think so.
Yeah. I know Chin. He I know him mainly because of that fantastic clip of well, I mean, it's going to sound mean when I say it, but when Bobby Lee was talking about when he was molested as a child and Brian Callen and Brendan Schaub start laughing about it. And
dude, that was so funny. That was so fucking funny.
One of the greatest clips in podcasts.
And the fucking guy, he goes, I was molested when I was 7. And they like crack up and he's like, why are you cracking up? Blah, 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 blah. And they're like, sorry, just continue. And he goes, yeah, that's what I thought. He just takes his pregnant pause and he goes, so I was brutally molested when I was. Yeah. It's like, you know what you're doing. Dude, that was so funny.
Every day for a summer.
Yeah, every day for a summer. Yeah. Well, let me see if I can actually hold on. I can pull this up for the stream. This is so funny to me. I want to see if I can get this up. I gotta play the audio.
Like, it's actually one of the clips that got me into like full blown watching podcasts. Like now, I used to do it only if there was a good guest. Now, like I'm watching JR Fighter and the Kid. Like I'm watching This Weekend Today or whatever. Like Uncle Joey's Joint. Like I'm just watching a shit ton of podcasts. So, like I watch True Geordie every once in a while.
I like True Geordie a lot. I love True Geordie.
Yeah.
I think it's sick how he got his own Beats deal too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. But hold on, let me play this for the audience here in case they're wondering what we were talking about.
Every day for a summer.
Wait, let me see. Is it playing through?
Let me see.
No, it is not. Oh wait, no, I don't have the fucking sound on. That's
when I was 9, I got molested by a guy with Down syndrome.
It's just like,
don't laugh, Brandon.
I'm not laughing.
Why'd you laugh?
It's just
that's fucking rude.
It's such a.
I know. Can I just say something? I'm gonna say it again, and if you smile, I'm gonna leave.
Okay. But
no, I'm being real. If you smile,
all right. Hold on.
That really fucking broke me.
No.
All right, hold on.
All right, so
give me a
I
second.
swear to fucking God, dude.
I know.
I will leave, Chin Chin.
All right, hold on.
You can't make a joke and
that's his name.
All right, but
that's not his name.
Yeah.
What's your name again?
Chin
Chin.
All right, give me a second. Give me a second.
All right.
I just wasn't ready for that.
I understand. I'm going to say it again, and if you smile, I'm going to leave.
Well, don't. All right, hold on.
We can't threaten a smile.
All right, just.
Okay, hold on, boys. Sorry about that.
Hold on. No, because then you're going to laugh. Don't laugh. Seriously.
Don't laugh. Get serious, but he's opening up here.
You ready? Don't cover your mouth though either.
Hey!
You can't cover your mouth. God. Because the thing is that I'm telling you something that's like I'm vulnerable about it, and I'm expressing a truth to you.
Hey, dude, you gotta get serious.
And if you cover your mouth, I just feel like you're laughing.
Nope, let's do it.
All right. So when I was 9, I was brutally molested by. Okay.
You can't say brutally.
Why?
Because that's a curveball.
Why is that?
Because don't say brutally. And look at Chin now.
It's not a curveball.
Don't say brutally.
Add some
for sure.
All right, don't add
adjectives there.
Classic clip though. Classic clip.
So when I was 9 years old,
100%.
every day for a summer.
But yeah, that was a classic one. That was a classic one.
You can't throw.
That was all-time great for that. That show kind of obviously fell off after those essay allegations that I forget which host was it. It wasn't Schaub. It was Brian Callen. Kind of went downhill after that. But besides that, it's been a very very fun show to watch, and after that though, kind of hit a wall.
Oh yeah, I mean. The one thing that Brian Callen has that is good is Mr. Joe Rogan as his friend, because Joe Rogan will never let his friends be completely canceled. Like if there's one guy in the podcasting game that I feel like can't be canceled, it's Joey Diaz. But if anyone ever tried to cancel him, he has Joe Rogan in his back pocket. So,
Absolutely.
yeah.
Absolutely. I think also too another guy that can't be canceled is Andrew Schultz with Flagrant 2.
Schultz is fucking hilarious.
But he's funny. Like it's just I think you gotta go about things in a hilarious manner. I think that's the key. The guy I a lot of these guys a lot of the people I see get canceled. Might be a hot take, but a lot of the jokes that they get canceled for aren't really funny. And I'm not out here condoning that you make fun of cultures or but listen, if you feel the urge, which I don't know why you would, but anyways, I'd say more often than not, I think if you make it less so about subjugating another person and more so about an observation or something, and you don't fall into that pitfall of being hurtful and targeting someone else, there's definitely a way that you can target, a certain I like to say work around the prejudice, or not work around the prejudice, but like work around the what's the word I'm thinking of? It's like I'm Jewish, so I can say this, but like if someone says that I, as a Jewish man, love money, that's a prejudice, right? Or that's a stigma, something like that.
I would say it's a stigma, not more of a prejudice. I would say that's a stigma or something that, of course, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, if you can make jokes around that, say as to why it's not true, or if you come in with a funny angle on it, I think you're less so likely to get canceled, if that makes any sense. But I think a lot of the stuff I hear that they got people canceled is either really, really just kind of like locker room, and it's fine to have locker room talk sometimes, but a lot of it is unoriginal. I feel like it's just a lot of the jokes I hear are just regurgitating something that I've heard a million times.
Yeah, what
you know what I mean?
Been said at this point. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And in that sense, I'm kind of like, all right, well, dude, what did you expect if you're just perpetrating something that people have already heard 1,000 times, and people, let's just say in that group, have already heard in a non-joking way, where someone like pulled them off the street and was like, hey, pick up this quarter, you fucking, you know what I mean? Like, so that's my whole take on it.
No, I think you nailed it 100%. And I really, really hate to do this to you because this conversation is fantastic, but I gotta let my staff out. It's the one thing that sucks about being at work.
Yeah, dude, listen. It's getting late anyways. We've been going for I don't know how long, maybe an hour.
Well over an hour, yeah.
So, but yeah, dude, listen, go do your thing, and we'll catch up. We'll do an in-person show, soon.
Yeah, man, I really appreciate you talking with me over your live stream. It's just an impromptu little episode. It's really nice. I love talking to you, man, and I appreciate you.
Absolutely, dude. Absolutely, anytime. I appreciate you too. And anyways, I wouldn't have been able to. I'm gonna see if I can, review and react to some stuff after this. But I think for the most part, it would have just been me talking into a void without you here. So I appreciate you coming on, man. For real.
Of course, man. Anytime.
We'll get something going. We'll get something going in person soon. Don't even worry about it.
Yes, sir.
All right, buddy. Much love.
All right, man. Thank you again. Talk to you soon, bro.
No problem. Talk to you soon.
Peace.
The very talented Peter, from the former TTL Sports host and now PVT Sports Network host. And with that, I mean, what did I have? I actually had stuff written down that I did want to get into because I was doing some research before this. But honestly, I mean, the best stuff from us, I think, as a collective comes when we're woefully underprepared and we don't bring anything in. So I think with that, I mean, we're going to be recording. I guess I'll update for anyone that's watching this pre and post or whatever right now. Doesn't matter. Essentially, what Nigel and I have been going through is a lot of sicknesses. Nigel's been dealing with a cough. I dealt with a flu, and now I have something I thought was corona. If you were listening, you'd know. Kind of covered it with Pete. And we also lost the studio where we were supposed to record at. So what we're planning on doing, we were supposed to record tonight, went back to Zoom. Zoom was terrible. What we're planning on doing now is using, I guess, the home here, my house. Talk about the home here as if it's not my crib that I currently reside at. But we're going to use the house here in order to record until we can get a more suitable spot. We have our marketing lady, the very talented Lisbeth Baez. She is working on getting us, replacement studio spot through some connection. But until that point, we're going to try to get you guys the best high-quality in-person stuff we can, because honestly, we're really not trying to go back over Zoom. What else is on the ledger? We do have some custom clothing coming out and a very, very interesting custom project with the people right there. Code JCS10 at copacatedcandles.com. So we're working with Copacated Candles to deliver you guys a custom, I don't want to give too much away, but a custom project, and I'll just say it. Custom project, custom design, custom little, what's one called? What am I thinking of? What's the word? Custom collection. So that's in the works for us, and then we're also going to be doing more outside of podcast content coming up just because we don't have that studio space. So reactions, maybe a little bit of gaming. I know Nigel wanted to foray into that. I'm really just doing a lot of stuff that we couldn't do because we were, constantly in school, and we had the podcast that we had to take care of. Not to say that the podcast is going away, because it's not going anywhere. We're actually purchasing some equipment, I think, on Sunday, and that's when we're going to be recording all the new stuff. But yeah, there's going to be a lot more leeway and a lot more time afforded to us now that wasn't before, and so we're really going to try to hit it hard and revitalize the way we do content. So I'm excited for that. And as always, I guess I could end off the stream here. Go hit the bed. Go hit the sheets. It has been your boy, the Jewish Jawline, the soundboard god, Jacob Koopman from the Jacob Koopman Show. Not here with Nigel today, but will be soon. I'll see you guys in the next stream.